Hi, I'm Bee. Welcome to my channel Be Cozy. Today I'll be setting up my bullet journal for 2025. I started bullet journaling in 2022, but it was very simplistic. I didn't begin using stationery such as stickers, washi tape, and decorative paper until 2024. For the past few years, I've been using journals made by Loft. The pink papers featured in this video come from a magical stationery book I bought at Michael's. I'll leave a couple links in the description below. I found that double-sided tape works best for securing things in my journals. Glue either makes the paper wavy, slides around, doesn't adhere well, or takes too long to dry. I also tried tape runners, which seemed convenient in theory but didn't work out in practice. The tape dispensed inconsistently, was prone to tearing, required too much adhesive to hold properly, and ultimately wasn't strong enough to keep things secure long term. I even had pages falling apart months later because the adhesive didn't hold up. I still struggle with aligning full pages correctly. I attempted to cover my mistakes with this gold washi tape, though I wish I hadn't needed to. One small upside to the misalignment is that folding the page is easier with just the washi tape rather than thick cardstock in the way. Coming up with a design for my cover page was a real challenge. I knew I wanted to incorporate 2025, but I wasn't sure how to arrange it. Ideally, I would have used stickers, but I didn't have any in the right color or size. While searching through my supplies, I found a small book of gold paper I bought from Dollarama. I wasn't sure how well it would work, but I decided to try drawing and cutting out the numbers myself. It took a while to get them right, especially the number 5, which gave me the most trouble. But in the end, I was happy with how it turned out. I committed to the gold washi tape and used it to create a border around the page. I chose these stickers because they're pink and gold, and they're really pretty. I also love how the key and lock sticker symbolizes the beginning of my bullet journal. As for the top left corner, I wasn't sure what to add, so I went with this bow. I'm not completely satisfied with it though, since it doesn't quite match the rest of the page. Of all my yearly spreads, I agonized the most over my full year calendar layout. I originally wanted to replicate last year's setup, but when I practiced drawing it, I couldn't get everything to align properly. This issue caused me to delay this video multiple times. Eventually, I opted for a much simpler layout just so I could move forward and stop stressing over it. Unfortunately, I still made a few mistakes that affected the overall aesthetic of the pages. I did my best to fix them, but I was pretty frustrated. I might cover October's calendar with a cutout like I fixed May's header. Something I've learned throughout my YouTube journey is that I can either let perfectionism stop me from creating and posting content, or I can learn to accept my mistakes, keep going, and strive to improve with each project. While planning this year's bullet journal, I decided to try keeping just one journal instead of 2. Last year I had separate journals, one for tracking my hobbies and another for everyday things like my calendar, habit tracker, daily logs, and YouTube progress. This year I'm attempting to combine both into a single, more efficient system. Reading has always been a big part of my life. My mom taught me how to read when I was 3, and I absolutely loved it. While living in China, I could only read English, but that didn't stop me from reading. We had a decent collection of books from America that I would reread over and over again. At one point, I was so obsessed with Little Women by Louisa May Alcott that I read it multiple times back to back. My move to America happened suddenly, and I didn't have much space to pack books. I left behind my parents and sister in China to complete high school in the US, where I lived with a single mother who primarily spoke Spanish. She worked a lot, so my daily life was mostly consisted of school, church, and home. Sadly, I didn't get an American library card until I was in college. Because of limited access to books and other personal circumstances, my leisure reading slowed down drastically for several years. I didn't fully get back into reading until my senior year of college. By then, I had a library card, fewer classes, and my own money to buy books. I started exploring fantasy and rediscovering my love for reading. After getting married and moving to Canada, I had a lot more free time. I began devouring audiobooks and physical books from the library or my own collection. For about 3 years, I maintained a steady reading pace, finishing over 200 books. I like to set up my reading tracker with a numbered column on the left so I can easily see how many books I've read, along with a date column to track when I start and finish each book. I just realized I made the date section too small, so I'll go back and fix that later. I simplified this tracker a bit this year, including columns for the book title, the format I read it in, such as audiobooks, ebooks, or physical copy, and a star rating section with 1 space per star. I don't have a specific reading goal for this year, but I left space to track 100 book titles. I usually like having something playing in the background throughout the day. If it's not an audiobook or YouTube video, it's probably a TV show. I prefer binge watching TV shows over movies because when I get invested in a world, I don't want it to end. I love diving into long-running shows since they let me spend more time in that world and with the characters. I think that's why I like the anime One Piece so much. The pacing isn't great, and there are quite a few filler episodes, but I love the characters and the story so much. A couple of my favorite TV shows growing up were Avatar: The Last Airbender and Disney's Zorro starring Guy Williams. I tend to watch mostly animation. Some of the shows I've rewatched this past year are Hilda, The Owl House, Gravity Falls, Bee and Puppy Cat, Delicious in Dungeon, Spy Family, Hunter x Hunter, Ouran High School Host Club, Dr. Stone, and Haikyuu. Even though I don't like to cook, I actually really enjoy watching cooking shows. I think it's because my dad was a big fan, so my family would often watch Iron Chef, Good Eats, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and other popular cooking shows together. Last year, I wanted to track the shows I watched, but couldn't come up with a system. This year, I designed a tracker that's simple, yet detailed enough to be useful. It includes sections for dates watched, the show's title, the season, and episodes. Hopefully it will work well. Growing up, the only video games I played were Wii Sports and a few Xbox 360 adventure games. My husband, on the other hand, has been a gamer since childhood. About a year after we got married, he suggested buying a Nintendo Switch for Christmas. At first I hesitated. Spending that much on something I wasn't sure I'd enjoy seemed risky. But I couldn't have been more wrong. We initially bought 2 games, Kirby and the Forgotten Land because I wanted something cute, and Stardew Valley since we wanted a game we could play together. I got completely hooked. I logged over 100 hours in Stardew Valley within a couple of months. After that, I started picking up more digital games on sale and spent the following year playing hundreds of hours on the Switch. Because I was gaming so much, I read less than half as many books as the year before. I play video games on the Nintendo Switch, PC, and mobile devices. My most played Switch games, each with over 100 hours logged, are Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I don't play on my PC often, but I'd like to change that. A few months ago, I tried live streaming PC games in the hopes of playing more regularly, but I haven't kept up with it for various reasons. I'd love to start streaming again with a flexible schedule, but for now, I'm focusing on catching up with my YouTube videos. I kept this tracker simple with columns for the date, game title, and console I played on. Growing up, I mainly watched Disney, DreamWorks, and a few Illumination movies. My family didn't have cable or streaming services, so when we wanted to watch something, my sister and I would take turns picking DVDs from our collection. To this day, we both enjoy rewatching comfort movies and TV shows. Now, movies are the smallest category of entertainment I consume, but I still like discovering new ones from time to time. I own a small handful of DVDs now, but it's been ages since I used a DVD player, but I wouldn't mind rebuilding my collection. My movie tracker is simple, with columns for the date watched, movie title, and platforms such as Netflix, Disney+, other streaming services, or DVDs. These are all the yearly spreads I think I'll need for 2025. My monthly spreads will include additional pages, such as habit trackers and YouTube progress, that I decided not to make into yearly spreads. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my journaling style, please consider liking this video and subscribing to follow my journey. See you in another video. Bye!